Okay, bonjour tout le monde. I hope that you can see me and that you're all safe and well these unprecedented times for the country. So what I wanted to basically do was look at a few different things with you from the point of view of a Leaving Cert student. What should you be doing? What should you be concentrating on? So the first thing I'd say to you is there is absolutely no way that you're going to get through the next couple of weeks without kind of a plan in place, okay? Because it's very hard if you're not getting up at a set time, if you're not kind of getting yourself into routine straight away, okay? So, for example, allot yourself maybe 40 minutes a day for each subject, the very same as you would in a school day, between 30 and 40 minutes. And I would say that with French, for definite, a lot of the work that I would be interested in you doing would be from your exam papers, okay? Now, everything is up in the air with regard to the Leaving Cert oral. We don't know when they're going to be on. We don't know if they're going to postpone them until after Easter, whether the thing that we're going through at the moment is going to run through Easter. We know none of that, okay? So for the moment, just consider that you have to do your oral exam, your written exam, your listening exam, okay? So you've everything to do. And you need to break up your time accordingly, okay? So if I were to give you one bit of advice first, I would say between those 40 minutes, maybe consider that today you're going to look at a reading, maybe do a reading from the exam paper, or maybe do one of the written pieces from the exam papers. So bearing that in mind, what I have here is I've taken the Leaving Cert 2019 and I've looked at the diary entry from the 2019 Leaving Cert Honours. I must consider doing a separate Insta or live stream for Junior Cert. For the moment, this is for Leaving Cert because a lot of Leaving Cert students have contacted me to do something like this, okay? So, for example, in 2019, it says, vous êtes allé à un concert avec vos amis et vous venez de rentrer chez vous, okay? So, you went to a concert with your friends et vous venez de rentrer. You have just returned home. Qu'est-ce que vous notez à ce sujet dans votre journal intime? So, what do you write about this subject into your diary entry? Okay. So diary entries, as we know, come up every year, okay? I think there was 1 year it didn't come up. It's gone back a long, long time. Was it 2000 or 2001? So basically you can consider that the diary entry is going to be a banker again this year, right? So it's very important when you're doing a diary entry that you look at your structure of a diary entry. And a diary entry structure is very, very simple, okay? So what you need to do is at the top of your page, and I'm going to try and do this as clearly as possible, and I know I'm not used to this writing like this. So I've started with cher journal, right? Everything's backwards first. Cher journal, okay? So you start all your diary entries with cher journal, right? And then what I tend to say to students is do not repeat the question word for word. You shouldn't do that. However, you have to make reference to your question that you're given, right? The stimulus material that you're given, you have to make reference to that. So it says that you went to a concert with your friends and you have just returned home. So I'll just read to you what I wrote for that. And again, this is not complicated French, okay? So, je viens de rentrer chez moi. I have just returned home. Il est 2 heures du matin et je suis complètement crevé. It's 2 o'clock in the morning and I am very tired. The idea being that you're making reference to the fact that you've just returned home. We are actually going to compound that by giving a time. It's not necessary, but if you can situate it in time, it's better again, okay? Then you tell the person that's reading, your reader, you tell them what went on. So, pardon me. Je suis allée à un concert de mon groupe préféré, The Script. J'ai reçu un billet pour mon anniversaire et je suis allée avec Louise et Susan, qui sont mes amis depuis l'enfance. Now, l'enfance is childhood, so we have been friends since childhood. Now, if you notice, ils sont mes amis depuis l'enfance. So we're using that lovely depuis construction, and the depuis means for or since. And how you use it is very simple. You put your sentence into a present tense, then you put depuis, then you put either period of time or specific day or date. So for example, je travaille depuis 3 heures. I have been working for 3 hours. Or, je travaille ici depuis septembre. I have been working here since September. And you can see that I've put my verb into the present tense. And here I'd say that Louise et Susan, ils sont mes amis depuis l'enfance. They are my friends since childhood. So it's a lovely use of that depuis construction. Again, you have to make note of the stimulus material, and the way an examiner will mark it will be 15 marks total will go toward communication, 15 marks total will go toward language. And what I always say is communication is what you want to say and language is how you say it. Okay? And there are equal marks going for it. Could you have a situation where you have a student gaining very high marks in communication and losing a lot of marks then in language? It generally doesn't work that way. They tend to work together, because if I'm trying to send out a message to somebody, well, the message that they receive is based on how I say it. So if the message is badly received or misunderstood or misconstrued, it means that I didn't use the language necessary to make it clear. And it's the very same in French. If you're not using the correct phrase, the correct tense, the correct construction, your language marks will suffer, but also your communication, because the message is, if you like, okay, pun coming up, but lost in translation. It's basically you're not getting the message across the way you should be. Okay? Then I continued to talk about the concert. Okay, I said how I got the ticket for the concert, the name of the group that we're playing. And then I said, nous avons pris le train jusqu'à Dublin et le concert a eu lieu dans l'Arène 3. Now, if you say dans le 3 Arena, there's no problem. Or if you say dans le stade Aviva, in the Aviva Stadium, no problem. Try if there's some parts of it that you can put into French too, but if it's the name of a place, for example, let me see. Okay, a place in Dublin, Grafton Street, or the Gresham. I don't even know if that's still open, but you know what I mean. You'd say L'Hôtel Gresham. You wouldn't try and make a French word out of a place name, because that just won't work. So le concert a eu lieu dans l'Arène 3 et nous nous sommes amusés. Nous nous sommes amusés. We enjoyed ourselves. C'était trop bien. C'était trop bien. You're using your imperfect there. C'était trop bien. That means literally it was too good. It was fantastic. It's the French use it an awful lot. It's colloquial French. It's familiar French, but it's not unknown. I mean, examiners will know it. Nous avons passé la soirée à danser et chanter. So nous avons passé. Be very careful when you're putting anything into the past tense that you learn very quickly your 16 verbs that go with être, or I call them the 16 slaves to être, and then they're like these little soldiers, and then the rest go with avoir in the passé composé. And nous avons passé la soirée à chanter et danser. So you've put your first verb conjugated into the passé composé, but you have two other verbs in that sentence and you leave those in the infinitive. Okay? L'ambiance était formidable Et tout le monde a passé un bon moment. So the ambiance, the atmosphere was great. And everyone, tout le monde, everyone had a great time. And then you finish it by something like, bon, il faut que je dorme maintenant. Il faut que will take subjunctive. And a very easy one for a diary is, il faut que je dorme. D-O-R-M-E. Il faut que je dorme maintenant. Je suis tellement fatigué. Now, you could just say, je suis fatigué, and that would have been fine, right? But another candidate might say something like, je suis tellement fatigué. And tellement fatigué would be really tired or so tired. And again, you're going to get more language marks because you're coming out of your comfort zone. You're giving it a little bit extra. That's important. And then simply bonne nuit journal. Now, what I would advise is that students don't use proverbs, sayings where they don't fit. So, for example, you've just come back from a concert. You were with your friends and you were very tired. Okay? So in my diary entry here, I chose to say that the concert went well, it was lovely, we went to Dublin, it was really nice, and all the rest of it, right? So a lot of you tend to put stuff like la nuit porte conseil. So kind of, I'll have to sleep on it. But you don't, because it was a good diary entry, there was no problem. The only time you'd have to use things like la nuit porte conseil, qui vivra verra, all those kind of things, they're when there's conflict in a diary entry. Either you've had a fight with your parents or your best friend, or another one that came up was your friend is going out to Australia on her gap year and your parents won't let you go, things like that. There's conflict, there's a problem, there's something to be resolved. In this, there's no conflict. You went to the concert, you had a great time, and it was fantastic. You know what I mean? So it's really important to do that, and to kind of get to grips with what exactly the exam question is asking you, right? Don't make it complicated. The examiners are there to give you marks. You're going to get a huge sympathy vote because of this horrendous situation that's unfolding in Ireland at the moment and all over Europe. And I think the focus should be on you feeling well, staying well, and not stressing. I can't say it enough. There is really no point in you stressing. I had started this morning an Insta Live group, right, or an Instagram group. Then I went and I did a Google Classroom. And I don't know how many, but I know that the Instagram group filled within 3 minutes, right? Just filled. Then the Google Classroom completely filled, right? And then I realized, do you know what? I don't want to leave anyone out. And at least if I'm on Facebook doing something concrete with you, like a lot of people are sending me stuff and I will try and get to them as much and as quickly as I can. But, the honest to God truth of it is, I won't be able to answer everybody, right? So if I feel that by coming on here and being consistent, if I do it every evening and you kind of say, look, we can go on, it'll be about 8 o'clock. Liz is going to come on and give us a bit of help with something. So it's concrete, it's something you could look back over and read over. As I say, with regard to suggestions, I will take your suggestions afterwards. Okay, there's no problem there. Now, I don't want to do a whole lot of plugging, but I do have a website, Frenchnotes.ie. There is a lot of stuff on there. The Leaving Cert membership is well worth considering, even at this stage, with a couple of months to go for the Leaving Cert. It's probably the price of one private lesson in anywhere in the country, and it is well worth it for thousands and thousands of revision notes. There is also a free section on it. There's a blog section on it where you'll get various sentences and things like that. And as I say, just contact me, put up messages on Facebook and just say, look, do you know what? I'd like if you covered this or you covered that. And I promise you, I will try and cover as much as is possible over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to leave that up. I think you can leave it up for a little while. And please feel free. Please share it. Please let your friends know about it. Please also realise that I'm on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, Frenchnotes French. And yeah, just as many people as we can help, we will help. OK? Merci bien. Alors, ce que je vais faire, je vais essayer de... I'm not that great at the mouse now. So I have to try and turn off this. I'm not... 1 second. OK. Bonne nuit.